Oh, what's going on, everybody? Ha ha! I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. So let's check this out. Listen, this is what I'd love to do is get ready for a test shoot with a model. So I have a test shoot coming up here this weekend. That's with hair, makeup, um, with styling, which I pretty much do my own thought process of my styling. So how do you make this up? How do you build this up? How do you kind of create this whole um, this thing that happens? One, you have to set a budget. You set your budget up to kind of figure out what you want to have for this. If you want it to be a TFP, not-for-profit, things like that, you can utilize some persons that who wants to get some experience underneath their belt with working with test shoots. Now, test shoots are with usually, or should be, with a model that is signed. Okay, that's hence the word test shoot, because that's a language. It's a shoot that you are presenting for their portfolio and your portfolio in the same. Now, why am I in front of all these packages and things? Is because listen, you can do this many ways. You can have them bring their items, you can bring items, but I'm at the point to where I know exactly the look I want. When I choose a certain model to work with, I immediately start to kind of brainstorm how I want this look to work, and I look at their portfolio and see what they need. So this particular model needs well, I would say it needs more of a athletic look, and also a big high glam look. So she has the character pictures in there right now, which shows who she is and things like that. So now I'm going to take her to another, telling a story. How can she tell a story? So we're going to be shooting here in the studio with a white background. We're going to be shooting very athletic. We're going to be shooting with some high key lighting, so that way it can look like sunny. We're going to put some sheen on her arms, her abs and shoulders, because those things are going to be exposed. The rest of it's going to be covered with the athletic gear of working out. We're going to do some posing, and also too, we're going to do some fun stuff with it as well. I have some rings. I have to find them. Where are they? Did I put them away? Boop, 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 boop. I should have them here somewhere. But I have some rings like you would do exercises, but kind of like a gymnast. So I have those, and right here I can hang my rings right here, and then I can shoot like she was holding on to the rings and kind of have showing her arms and muscles. So we're gonna be doing some. We have this whole build out of looks that is very user friendly for what we're trying to do, I guess, for all intents purposes, of us creating this style and image. And then the next one is very high glam, with different pieces. So I usually have them bring some of their character pieces into with the idea that I have, so that we can mesh a little bit. But hair and makeup, I pretty much keep it the style that I'm looking for. With a athletic look, I usually go with a makeup, no makeup look. So if you guys know what that means, and so I really don't want any big high contrasting and bold type of cuts of makeup. I just really want their face to be clean, the foundation, get the gloss away from it, because we're going to create looks for what's a little bit of perspiration on looks, but I don't want the makeup. I don't want it to be makeuped. Okay, so it's a makeup no makeup look, and then we're going to do a high glam fashion look, because we're going to have on black. Okay, so anytime you have on black, I definitely want that to be a different conversation as far as the makeup. The first set is going to be pretty easy and quick. We're going to get some poses out in and out on that one. And the second set, we're going to spend some time kind of connecting with kind of like a cover pieces, and basically we're going to be kind of doing quarter pieces. I'm not going to do any full body on those for those right now. And then maybe the next time we go out and shoot, we'll be on location, and then we'll do some other stuff on a different thing. But I really truly love doing that. So how do you get in contact with? How do you get to start with this, and why is this important for you if you want to go into fashion? Um, um, I guess photography and glam photography, and you want your portfolio to present. For one, you want your portfolio to present the looks that you are trying to accomplish. Meaning, you want to make sure that you're putting the folks inside of your portfolio that you're trying to attract. So you want to create. You'll get away from a lot of the TFP style, or what we call the new models or aspiring models. These are folks that are not signed. Okay, they're not signed yet, possibly because they're still making their bones with that community. But if you go to a signed model, go to an agency, and you reach out to the agency, it's usually either the new face model or they may have another term for it, the recruiter or the outreach person, whoever it is. In this case, it's the new face model coordinator or agent. So this is a person who takes in all the new people. We're trying to get them exposed to different environments and things like that. You present yourself to the modeling agency. So that means you send out an email. That email should be very, I mean, I can do it quicker because I've been working with the agency, but when you first do it, do who, what, when, her, how, and why. What you're doing, the model that you're looking for, where it's going to be, when it's going to be, and then what they would do in turn, make sure that that's in their wheelhouse, because what they don't want is you trying to do fashion, someone else's pieces of a designer, and that designer uses it for exposure for their stuff. That's a paid gig, right? They don't want anything like that. Or you're using things for corporate shoot. This should be for portfolio uses only, and for some possibly, if like me, I'll talk about my photography, and I can use those pictures as an example. But I cannot, and you will not, and shall not use any type of images to get any return on funding. Meaning, I will not present my pictures to another agency or another or the pieces that the person is in. Say, hey, I have this model who posed in your pieces. You can use these and pay me. You can't do that when you do a test shoot. That's robbing them. That's stealing from them. And if you do that and get caught, then you're not going to have a good relationship. So trust me, building up a good relationship, you will have a sleuth. I guess that's the word. Anyway, you will have basically the keys will open up, the gates will open up to you to work with their clients. And what happens from there? As you as a new photographer and building this in, you're not getting paid for this. This is normal. So when you're building it up, you're not getting paid. Up until a test shoot can be paid. That means they like you to present their people in the likeness that you have done, because you have repeated success. Hopefully you guys heard me talk about consistency. So find your niche. Mine's going to be athletic gear and one glam. Athletic gear, one glam. So any person that new faces come in, they're going to say, hey, I want you to work with him because he's going to do a great athletic look with you and a glam look with you. They will reach out to me and they can present how much they want to pay me to do a test shoot with them, because it's not a branded shoot, okay? It's not a commercial shoot. It's just something that's going to get them over to get invited to the show because they like the way my work looks or your work looks in order for them to do that. You guys catch on? But if you present as a test shoot, that means you are paying for everything to make sure that shoot happens in accordance. Now, one thing I would tell you, you put in what you're going to get out, what you put in, bar none. You're going to get out of your pictures what you put into it. Now, guys and gals and folks, friends and foes, this channel is for you. Now, if you like videos like this, I'm gonna pause for a minute. This is for my new photographers between 1 and 2 years, and I'm here to help you engage in this community. So hopefully you taking the time, taking notes on what this means, because I'm about to go into something of importance with you. You are your own worst enemy when it comes to staying on track with what you're trying to do. You are your own worst enemy, because you feel like you should show everything that you are doing. And it's not going to do you any good if you're trying to go into a market, because they readily want to see you, who you are, how you are, when you are, where you are, okay? Immediately. And they don't want to question it. I remember, and I'm going to give you some real truth, okay? Look me in my face, right? The real truth is, when I first went towards working with the same people who opened up the doors with me right now, I got carte blanche. I can ask for almost anybody. If they're available, they will send them. They will say, yes, we would love for you to do that. But before, when I first reached out to them, they saw my work. My work did not match what I was saying. My work did not build confidence in them to say, hey, whatever you do is going to help my model. My work did not reflect it. You know why? I was shooting a lot of boudoir when I first came out into the world of photography of my business model. My first business model, shoot boudoir, shoot boudoir. Oh, that's a great market. And I shot it. And I'm telling you, man, that was the hardest, most roughest time of my career as a photographer, shooting boudoir. And those of you who do it, blessings, blessings. But those who know the real about boudoir photography, you know how tough it is in that market. So fashion and beauty, I understood the one thing I really appreciated about that journey is I love the fashion. I love the clothing. I love the pieces. And then I got into fashion photography. Then I really exploded in inspiration and excitement about how people look in clothes, how people are designing things. I want to do that. I want to do that. And then I looked at how the makeup was done, and I really was encouraged by that. So I knew by fault and default, if you see my portfolio, if you see my Instagram, you see my pages, you're going to see immediately I'm a fashion, beauty, glamour photographer. Portraits, people, right? You're going to see it automatically. And that builds trust. Now, I photograph people. In my mindset, I have to show the people in the likeness that I'm trying to attract, the people I'm trying to attract. And this is very key to you. And I'm going to point right at the camera, right to you, right there. Someone told me this advice a long time ago, and it almost hurt my feelings. You are what you eat. You are what you show. If you're showing what you're shooting what you're showing, that's what you are. So if you want to get into another lane, you need to only show that lane. And you're going to say, Mr. Washington, I don't understand why I only have to show one way. If I look at your stuff, you got some stuff in there that could be considered boudoir on your page. It could be. But the way I lit it, the way I designed it, the way I cropped it, it's still beauty, fashion, and glamour. Because nobody's going to go to my page and say, hey, can you do a boudoir shoot with me? First off. Or when they go to my set, they're going to say, hey, I'm a male model. Can you photograph me? Because I predominantly photograph females. If I only had males in my portfolio, and now I'm asking to shoot a lot of females, is that going to build trust with an agency? No. So you have to build trust with your work. So how do you do that? You're going to be out there hustling and working and finding some gorgeous people because you are what you eat. Not saying that everyone that you put in front of your camera is not worthy of the opportunity to be in front of your camera. And don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Make your money. Do your portrait sessions. Do your school sessions. Do your sports sessions. Do whatever you got to do. But if you're trying to get in the lane, you only show what you're trying to shoot. I'm going to give you a baby Jesus on that one. You only show what you're going to shoot. Now, if you only get a targeted amount of people in your Instagram and Facebook and stuff, because that's what they're trusting. They're trusting what you're seeing, what they're seeing, and they're going to come after it. So I'm going to get off my soapbox on that one. So you guys can understand. Get into the agency and modeling and agency, you got to build trust. Another thing is, your articulation about what you do has to be clear and concise and to the point with these people because they're busy. They're busy. They don't have time. I say, hey, I want to do a shoot with this model this time. Can you share? Is it okay that I reach out to her? Or do you have a way to reach out to her? What they would normally do in this particular agency, they reach out to the model, and the model will go look at your stuff, and the model will get back to you and say yes or no. So every time when I get a yes, which is 90% of the time, and I say the 10% is because they're busy, they're working, they have stuff to do. Because I don't ever reach out to a model that doesn't have stake in the game for what I need from them. You know what I mean? So if I see a model's page and their portfolio and they already shot with a lot of people, they've been in the game for a long time, I know that those are not the folks that I'm going to get in front of me. I have to look at unless I'm presenting for agency. If you present for an agency, then yes. If you're like a company or corporation, you say yes, you can go and build out, say, hey, I want like to hire your model for this. This is what I'm looking for. I like these 3 people. Can you have them show up? This is the budget for them, yada, yada, XYZ. That's a different story. So, but if you're doing something like a test shoot, and this is for test shoot purposes only, that's what you have to do. Now, if you want to get into that other realm of how you can push into for corporate shoots and for marketing, for shoots for marketing, you absolutely can do that. Building that relationships with the agency helps you engage with those folks as well. Because now that you have it in, say, look, I know the models that they're working in. I know this agency, they have a great group of people. This is where I can present to them and see where we can go. Do you like this? And of course, you have things called licensing agreements and all other stuff. You got another world to go into with that. So we're not going to get into all that. But right now, how do you get into doing this testing shoots? And let me break it down to you. Okay. You look at the agencies that's out there. Okay. You do a query and make you a list. And I would dare to say, if you make you a good Excel spreadsheet, and start making you a list of your spreadsheets for all these different companies that's around the way and the different areas that you are willing to be in order for you to do it as well. And then you will go into, they have talent scouts. Okay. So you can look for the talent scouts and start reaching out to them, because usually talent scouts are checking their emails often. So like an editor, marketing director, things like that, they're too busy. They're going to probably push it off to the side because that's not in their wheelhouse. But if you're looking for like the talent scouts or a new face model, things like that, those are the folks you want to try to find their information and reach out to them first. Usually from that, because you benefit them. And then they're gonna more likely see your work. The other second thing you can do, whenever they have open call for models to come in, guess what you can do? You can show up too. You're a photographer. Go to the open calls. Then you can build relationships on the second portion of that, of actually seeing the actual models there. You can talk to the talent acquisition personnel that's there. They can see you and they can say, yeah, I would love for you to work with my people. And then they're going to tell you, hey, these are the styles that we need. Can you accomplish it? This is where I would like for this person get a look at this way, this person get a look that way. And then you're giving some free labor. But guess what? You're building your portfolio. Now, 2 points to that. You can do everything they want you to do, or you can do everything that you want to focus on. Since I love beauty, hair, and makeup, I love that. I want to do a lot of studio. I'm an in-studio shooter. Be specific for what you like to do. Because if you get into that rat race and doing everything that they like, again, now you're holding yourself accountable for that lane. And that may not be the lane you want to be in. So be careful with that. So I will always say, hey, I'm a studio first shooter. That's what I love to do. That's my market. That's what I hone in my skills at. I don't like shooting outside because I don't want to be fighting all these elements, nor do I have the support around me to always be out there, because it's very costly. You guys know you need you need a grips. You need a lot of grips out there, because you got people holding stuff. You need people that's your DA that's out there, your digital assistant that's out there. You got hair and makeup and stylist, right? And you have a director, and you're the photographer. So you have all these things that are happening all around you trying to get a set done. Producer as well. You got producers over there. You have marketing agencies over there. You have the folks from the products that's out there. Everybody has something to say, and you have to be ready and willing to work your hind parts off, because it's not done until it's done. You know what I mean? But if you go into this world of test shooting, so I'll keep it back down. I'll come back down. And test shooting, and why is it important for you to engage in supporting what you're trying to do? Now, I went right into the look that I wanted, how I wanted to develop it, and I went after it itself. I'm gonna go get you a piece real quick. Stay there, stay right there. Don't go. I know being off camera, people don't like that, but you can ideally say what you're trying to do. So I have a look, and then I went out and I found this jacket for the look, for a high collar look with a nice glam side cut look on the picture. Okay, so I started with this as the high glam piece. It has a leather or alligator type of texture on it, and then I got the skirt and the top and things like that. That's what happens with these things. And then you buy accessories and all that stuff. I have a budget that I stay within. That's to include hair, makeup, props, pieces, looks. I have a budget and I stay within that budget. This is my shoot. I produce it. I control how I want it to look. I tell people what's happening. This helps you build skill sets at the end of the day. So when you go on set and they say, hey, how do you want this thing to happen? You have already articulated this before. So when you see a hair and makeup person, you don't have to be like, no, you say, hey, let's go to the mood board. This is what I'm looking for. The mood board, this is for the first 2 sets. There's a second set right here. We're only going to spend, so you're going to do makeup lightly. Then we're gonna do a makeup, no makeup look. We're gonna do a before and after shot. Remind me to do a before and after before you put makeup on. We'll do a before and after shot. You do the first set. We're gonna do a few poses on this one. You're gonna do poses this way, and a few poses this way. I need you to come in, do your touch up real quick, and then we're good. The next part of this hour that you're with them, we're gonna do a high glam. So add to what you already done. You don't have to take anything off. Just add to what you've done already. Now we have a high glam look. Hair, I want this way. We're gonna start looking at this, and then we're gonna piece these things all together. And then that's it. My last one is I'm gonna be focusing on just the face and the portraits. So we're gonna cut all the clothing down to the shoulders gonna be open because that's my signature look. And now I wanna make sure I have a beauty look picture for your makeup and also for the model as well in their portfolio. Conversations happen throughout that time. But if you can be concise on what you're trying to do and engage in that, imagine if when you're on set and someone's asking you a question, hey, how do you want your lighting? Hey, how do you want this? A DA, which is digital assistant, you have a DA, that person knows you in and out, should know you. But if you don't, you have to go over there and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is the engagement I'm looking for. And going back and forth with them, and maybe if you have time to do rounds, do some rounds with them, some practice rounds or some stutter sets, some sets, then they can go ahead and start making adjustments automatically. I use Capture One. Capture One is one of the greatest things that ever came to me as a photographer. When I got introduced to it, and I thought, when I first started, I'm very familiar with Photoshop. I'm very familiar with Lightroom. And Lightroom used to always give, when you try to tether with Lightroom, it used to always cut out. I used to be so frustrated with that. I don't know about you, but I'm not knocking Lightroom. Hopefully they've done better. But when I was using it years and years ago, before I picked up Capture One, that used to be a problem, and you don't want those type of problems on set. Capture One has never let me down on set, other than I wish I would have had it earlier. And I'm not trying to, I won't talk about something that if it's not making sense. I use Capture One inside my studio. You use Capture One out in the area. It's very user friendly for personnel, especially when you're looking at studio photography. Any photography, to tell the truth, but studio photography especially. So, okay. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, please do hit me up on Messenger. All my name, Antoine Photos. You can find me on my website, AntoinePhotos.com. If you want to go ahead and chop it up with me on Instagram, Antoine Photos, Facebook, Antoine Photos, Messenger, whatever platform you feel comfortable, TikTok, Antoine Photos, you find that. I only do videos on TikTok just to have some fun. But if you want to see the work, go to my website. If you want to engage with that as well, please do. I'm always looking for people to do donations on my website because I would like to keep the training open for people so I can train them with no cost for them. And that donations help me to be able to do that. If you guys want to be involved with that, please do go to my homepage. You can see the donations, and please do. I'll be highly encouraged for that to happen. Other than that, keep shining and grinding. Until next time, man, y'all, I didn't want y'all to see everything. I'm gonna do a follow-up to this video, and you're gonna see the shoot. I'm gonna be videoing the shoot. You guys see some post work off of this video, so stay tuned. I look forward to talking to you guys about this. Again, I appreciate you guys. Keep hanging in there, keep shining, keep grinding. Man, photography is not dead. It's fully alive in the 26th era. And I appreciate you guys for being a part of this. And up until next time, man, I said it already before, man, but you know, come on, baby. Baby.